They get surprised that I tell them I'm half Polish.
Whenever I'm in Morocco, everyone is telling, oh, this is the Polish lady.
You have a Polish last name, right? That's very evident.
Yes. My surname is Rydzewski.
I was born here. I know the culture, the Palestinian culture, Polish culture.
In that way, I guess I'm more Polish.
And she was like, yeah, this is Aggie. She's half Polish, half Russian.
Ooh.
Hey
Hey,
aliens! Today we're talking to half Poles.
So a person who has one parent Polish and one parent foreigner.
They'll share which part of their personality feels more Polish.
And do they feel fully accepted in Poland as a half Polish person? And some funny stories along the way.
Before we start, make sure to subscribe to Aliens in Poland so we can bring more episodes like that.
And let's get started. Can you introduce yourself?
Yes, so I'm Aggie. I'm half Polish, half Belarusian, and I live in London.
For how long?
6 years already, I think.
Wow. So tell us about your background. Where did you grow up?
So I actually grew up in Poland and a little bit in Belarus. So my father is Belarusian. He doesn't say he's Belarusian. Now he is 100% Polish, and his accent is actually wonderful. And my mom is Polish.
My name is Emil. I'm from Poland, Warsaw, born and raised. I don't look Polish that much, but this is because my father is from Palestine and my mother is from Poland.
My name is Zineb. I'm half Polish, half Moroccan. Was born in Poland, Szczecin. Then I moved to Morocco when I was like 1 year old. I was living there till 17 and I finished high school and then moved back to Poland for studies. I literally spent half of my life in Poland and half of my life in Morocco.
My name is Andres. I'm from Mexico, but I'm also half Polish. I was born in Mexico, but I moved here 2 years ago.
My name is Brandon Robinson. I'm half Polish, half Jamaican. I was born in Toronto, Canada, and I've been in Poland for 4 years now. My mom was born in Canada. Both her parents Polish, so she learned to speak Polish. The closest person to me who was born in Poland is my grandmother. She was born in the Tatras. She lived in Poland until she was 15, and then she went over to Canada. She had to leave because, she was an orphan, so she had family in Canada who sponsored her. Her father, my great-grandfather, he hit a Jew in their little village during the Second World War, and he was caught. He was killed for that.
I'm Christopher, and I'm from the US originally, but living in Poland for about 8 years with a 2-year pause in Greece. My dad is Greek and my mom is Polish. She's from Bieszczady.
What part of your personality is Polish and what part is Belarusian? Or maybe some part is British because your accent sounds a bit British at times.
When it comes to the nice version of me, it's definitely London. In English, I'm super outgoing. I'm like, yeah, you good, you okay? But in Polish, I switch. I'm like, yeah, no, co chcesz? In Russian, I'm a bit shy, I would say. I'm super honest. And this part of the personality is definitely Slavic. I call Belarus and Poland Slavic altogether because it is basically the same culture, same religion, same background. And we were the part of the same country of the Polish-Lithuanian Commonwealth for ages.
So do you feel like more Polish, more Jamaican, or more Canadian?
Well, I feel very Polish. It's why I'm living here. Poland feels like home. It suits my personality, I think, more so than Jamaica would. I think Polish people are very hardworking, very ambitious, and I consider myself ambitious as well. So I think that's the Polish part of me. And Canadians, on the other hand, are considered to be polite, very accommodating, calm. And I think that also describes me.
I feel more Moroccan when I'm in Poland and I feel more Polish when I'm in Morocco. So whenever I'm in Morocco, everyone is telling, oh, this is the Polish lady. And when I'm here in Poland, it's the opposite, like, oh, that's the Moroccan one. But still more Moroccan when it comes to the way I'm acting, the way I'm thinking, and probably it's because I live there, I grew up there. So I would say more Moroccan than Polish.
Would you consider Palestine a home country as well as Poland?
I have a huge respect for Palestinian culture and the people struggling there, living their life. I have respect and love for them, but this is my home country. I was born here. I know the culture, the Palestinian culture, Polish culture, but that's my home, actually, here in Poland. And I think even my father, although he was not born here, he says every time that he is Polish. And I feel Polish as well.
Can you tell us about his story coming over to Poland from Palestine?
He was 18. He was excited about the communism because, the idea of the communism, the philosophy of it, of the equality. He wanted to move to USSR. It was his dream to see the communism, to be a part of it. He managed to do it, but he landed in Poland and he said, all right, same thing. So he decided that he would like to stay. And then he saw what the communism is. And then he changed his mind to the point that, for example, the Communist Party, they wanted to cooperate with him. They wanted him to talk a bit about some things from abroad, to make a contact. And what he said to them is to get lost. He said that he would not cooperate with them. He does not like what they are doing here, and he suffered the consequences. But I'm proud of my father doing so. This is why he came here, for the communism, but he stayed here because of his beautiful wife, my mother, and me and my brother, I guess.
And does he or your family go back to Palestine ever?
Not so much. I was there a few times back in the old days, let's say, when it was a little bit safer. Right now, not so much. It's a dangerous journey.
Well, I don't consider myself an introvert. Still, I would say I'm not that extroverted as most Mexicans. And then when I moved here, I start to notice that in many ways, people are more like me. I don't just randomly speak to people on the street. I don't randomly smile to people. If I'm happy, I will show that I'm happy. If I'm sad, I will still be sad. But in Mexico, it's there's certain expectation that you should always be smiling and happy. And if you are not, people will ask you, what's going on? What's happening? And you feel this constant pressure of you should behave in a certain way. And I would say here that is completely different. If you're happy, you can act happy. If you're sad, you can act sad. And no one will be asking you, are you okay? In Mexico, people go around life more carefree. They're just maybe living in the moment, not really thinking about the future, not really worrying about much. And Polish people are a little bit different. Some could say that it's more pessimistic approach. But to me, they at least seem to plan more for the future. And I can relate to this part more. And I think it has to do with the fact that mainly growing up, I spent more time with my mom than my dad.
Sometimes I'm really loud. I have a zest for life, let's say. That might be the more Greek part. But the next day I might be more calm, reserved, cool. In that way, I guess I'm more Polish. And then I guess the American always pops up once in a while. All of these countries, they make up who I am. But I can't say that one country really prevails in any way.
What's it been like living in Poland with being Arabic and Polish mix?
When you are younger, children can be cruel. So when they find out that there's anything different about you, they can use it against you. I think it built my character. I know how to defend myself. I remember when with my friend, we were in this jazz club and there was a jam session and there was this guy, I think he was African American, and he was playing his solo on the guitar. I looked around and I talked to Micha and I said, damn, that must be really strange to be totally different than everyone else in this room. I wonder how this guy feels. And then Michał said, but Emil, you have the same problem. I said, oh, damn, yeah, that's true. I stopped realizing this.
So what's it like being half Polish, half Belarusian in UK?
I was going out partying with my friend, and she knew I'm half Belarusian, half Polish. And I introduced her to her everything. And then she was introducing me to other person. And she was like, yeah, this is Agi. She's half Polish, half Russian.
Ooh.
And I was like, no, it's not Russia. I'm Belarusian. And she was like, no, but that's what I said.
It has Russian, so...
Yeah. And then I asked her, okay, did you know what Ukraine is? And she was like, yes, it's the same. And these people that are really uneducated, I noticed that they willingly ignore the other part. If I say I'm half Belarusian, half Polish, then they treat me Belarusian. Ooh. When I say I'm half Polish, half Belarusian, then I'm Polish. And this Belarusian thing, that doesn't exist.
I also don't really look Polish. The first impression when people see me, they start speaking in English. All the time they need to think, okay, she is Arab, she is Muslim, for example. So there are things that we cannot say. We need to be more careful with the jokes. Probably when it comes to alcohol, they will never be asking me oh, okay, let's drink with us.
People are really, really very surprised when I say that I'm half Mexican, half Polish. I don't think it's a very common combination. You always get very cool reactions from people. I think people are generally very curious about the Mexican part of it. I think it's a country that a lot of people know for the vacation side, but they are very curious about what's life like there, the food, sweets. Of course, they always ask how come you are half and half? How did it happen? Who from your family is Polish? How did they move to Mexico? It's always very interesting for people.
You have a Polish last name, right? That's very evident.
Yes. My surname is Rydzewski. I don't get the impression that people usually think I'm foreigner, just by looking at me. They just speak to me in Polish. I try to answer with my not high level of Polish. But in general, I don't really feel like it's any difficult.
We think of Greeks as more open, Polish people as a little bit more reserved. But I think in both cultures, there's this really big emphasis on family and also on hospitality.
What about the differences? Let's say, what's one thing that you might see in Greece that you would never see in Poland?
I think just sheer volume. I remember when I was living in Athens for 2 years, I would call my mom, just like on a Tuesday night. And she was like, why are there people yelling outside your window? I was like, they're just talking. Like he's asking the neighbor about his day. Whereas here, it takes a little bit more time for people to kind of come outside of their shells. I'm not sure what other people's experiences are. And I know mine is a little bit different because I came here with preconceived notions of what being Polish is based on how I was raised, which is a Poland that doesn't even exist anymore. And this isn't even the region where my family comes from. So there are differences in Poland. In my mind, when I arrived, I thought Polish people would be a little bit more friendly here, kind of how they are back in my mom's village. Whereas here, it's kind of every man for himself, which is understandable. But I remember that was one kind of mental block for me when I was, by myself when I first arrived 8 years ago and meeting people and they were just kind of standoffish to me. And I wasn't understanding that. This is not the Poland that I grew up with. Completely different atmosphere here.
I always felt a strong connection to the Polish heritage because I spent so much time with my Polish grandparents. I remember grandma telling me stories of Poland before I'd go to sleep. And I think those stories are partly why I ended up in Poland. I wanted to see it firsthand.
So what kind of stories was she telling you?
So it was a mixture of good and bad. So I remember, for example, her telling me about working on the farm and milking cows and telling me of, little ducklings and how beautiful the mountains, the Tatras were. But she'd also tell me Poland at the time was under Russian occupation. I've always been really interested in history. I'd ask her, did you have any interactions with the Russians? She told me only once. The Russians came through her town. The story was a dog was barking and a Russian officer didn't like it, so he shot the dog.
So how do people react when you tell them you're half Polish?
They get surprised that I tell them I'm half Polish. Perhaps I don't look as Polish as I do Jamaican. Once they hear that I'm part Polish, they're even kinder, but they always say, oh, so you're one of us. Even though I'm not fluent in the language, even though I wasn't born here, they treat me as one of their own.
Do you have any funny story that you'd like to share about Poland or Palestine?
People often ask me if I'm from abroad because I look a little bit not so much Polish. And then I often pretend that I don't know what they're talking about and I ask them, okay, oh, sorry, is it because of my accent? My accent is not perfect, is this right? And they said, yes, I hear something about your accent. And then they try to pretend that they hear something in my accent. They always try to justify it and they say, yeah, there's something in your accent that I can hear. They can't hear anything because I speak Polish natively.
And do you tell them at some point, actually, I'm native?
Yeah, I'm telling you, and they feel stupid.
I do remember one time that I had a friend coming from Morocco to visit me. He's 100% Moroccan. We went to a Polish restaurant. Even though he is Moroccan, he's, very blonde, very white, green eyes, light hair. And when we went to the restaurant, I was asking for 2 menus and they were asking about the language. And I said one in Polish, one in English. And when they came with the menu, I got the English one and he got the Polish one. And so we started to laugh and to talk with the waiter and we were explaining that, no, I am the Polish one, but he is the Moroccan one. So this waiter, he was kind of shocked that we also have lighter skinned people in Morocco. I was thinking that this is normal that people know that Moroccan, even though Morocco is in Africa, the way we look, we really do have different peoples.
To me, it's funny. I get the impression that Polish people are very interested in Mexican cuisine. They actually like it. There are many restaurants in here. Not all of them are very authentic Mexican. You get all of this maybe pasta sauce that is Mexican. And then you see that it has corn and it has beans.
Corn and beans, that's Mexican enough.
I mean, it is something that we eat a lot in Mexico, but to me it's funny that everything that is Mexican has to have corn and beans here.
And salsa.
Yeah, and it's just that and nachos, that's everywhere.
Neither of my parents reported me to the embassies when I was born in the US. So when I came here, actually, I had to start the process of this karta pobytu, which is every foreigner's nightmare. I sympathize with you all. And I was rejected, but luckily I had also just applied for my citizenship, which they couldn't reject. And it was a year into being, living here in Warsaw. And I got a knock at the door and it was 2 guys with guns. Yeah. And I was like, can I help you? I was like, what's happening? Is this my first contact with like Polish mafia or something? It was immigration. By default, I just said, do you want me to like put some tea on while we're waiting? I was shocked. And they came in and they said, okay, everything is kind of clear. Your decision was negative, but if you hadn't also applied to be a Polish citizen now, we would have to deport you. And I was like, deport me back to America? So sad. But it was a really interesting situation.
When you just moved to the UK, did like your Polish and Slavic personality clash with British personality?
Yeah, it still clashes because I just cannot just be fake. The funny situation I had, it was just when I came to the university. We're sitting, chilling, just having this like open day at the university, meeting all like everyone. And I saw a girl. Her outfit wasn't my type. The makeup, like London, a bit orange. There was a girl, and they're looking at her, and they're like, "Oh, hi, come to us." And I'm looking at them like, "Okay, what's going to happen?" Yeah. And I'm just sitting in silence, and they're starting like complimenting on her outfit, on her makeup, and I'm just, okay, maybe they like it. I'm not going to say anything, but believe me, it didn't flatter her. They said to her like, "Yeah, your lashes are fantastic. Oh, your scalp, where is it from? It's amazing." Blah, blah, blah. Compliments all over the place. Yeah. And then she left. And the moment she left, they were like, did you see her? What was the skirt? And I was shocked. I'm like, yeah, but so what was the point of telling her that she looks great? I was like, Aggie, don't be rude.
Oh.
I'm like, rude? Who is rude here?
How does that work in the UK when you are honest?
They think I'm rude. They're like, yeah, okay, it's Aggie. Aggie is always like that. That's what they say. I'm like, yeah, but why are you all lying to yourselves?
For me, what's fascinating is how half-Poles look in appearance and what part they take from each culture. So for example, Brandon, he looks more Jamaican, but his personality is more Polish.
Are you yourself connected to more than one culture, or maybe you're a mixed couple with a half-Polish kid? Let us know your story in the comment section.
And don't forget to subscribe to
Aliens in Poland.